What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? Xraypc here, back with another video for Seven Deadly Sins Seven Deadly Sins Origins. Hell yeah! And this one is going to be about the engravements. So these are the engraved armor. These are like this that you can earn in game. These are not purchased the thing, and I just want to clarify this. For some reason, people thought this skin is like Grand Cross. In Grand Cross, skins give you stats. In this game, they don't do anything. So I got this skin, and I had a bunch of annoying people try to comment like they know what they're doing in the game, and thought this skin was $1,000. I got actually lucky, and I got it early, and it only cost maybe max like $80, maybe $70 if you're that unlucky and hit the 10 pity, because there's only 10 rolls. There's only 10 things on it, and then boom, the final thing would be the sword skin if you got that unlucky. This is only this and this are only from the in-game. So acquiring conditions, engraved equipment. This is from the skin reward. This is only a skin, right? It doesn't even give you stats. It doesn't show up here as an engraved kit or anything. These, though, are actual things. Like, these actually give you stats. At least from what I've seen other people who have this skin, and it literally does nothing for you. It doesn't show up here in your armor and give you, like, crazy benefits or anything. Also, it would be, in a sense, a purple only. It's not even an SSR. So the other characters have this as an earnable thing, and it's an SSR. For some reason, his was the purchase reward from the cosmetic shop that came with the Lost Main Sword. But yeah, just want to go over the best engravements, and like for each character. Where is it? There it is. So we'll start with Tristan. I'm just ignoring the purples. They're just whatever. Like, this is something you earn at the earlier part of the game, and you're going to instantaneously replace this. I'll just show you the stats. 6k to 14k HP. 2k to 5k defense, right? Even the substat ones are like each one has their unique thing that's benefiting the actual kit. Ult damage 8%, crit chance 4%. Fire burst efficiency 18%, crit chance at 10%. So, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to skip over to SRs, the purple ones. Those are the ones you use to, if you somehow farm the gear to get to here. I never even, like, attempted to even get enough of this because, like, why would I waste my time trying to farm for the purple one? I was able to get to World Tier 4 really fast and able to do content that was, like, 20,000 power, 28,000 power above me. So there was, like, no point. You might as well always just hyper focus on this. Engravements also, just as one extra note, can literally make an SR character into SSR quality because of how powerful some of these engraved equipments are. So just to know of that. So I'm going to go through. Let's do Tristan's first. Attack an enemy with reduced fire resistance. It decreases that normal skill cooldown by 50%, this is from his dual sword fire. This is what it's for. Decreases your normal skill cooldown by 50% and increases your fire burst efficiency by 20% for 15 seconds. You would only use this for your dual sword. You can use this for your great sword because if your teammate has Tristan or if there's another character in the lobby that somehow reduces fire resistance, you still get this effect. But getting increased fire burst efficiency on his great sword that doesn't benefit from that is just kind of useless. So you would use this for your dual swords, like fire burst efficiency here, fire burst efficiency here. Maxes out 30%. So this one's really good. Dual sword is really, really solid, especially when for my build for longsword, right? If you go to team, you can see right here that he combos with dual sword Tristan. So you can use dual sword Tristan to set up the burst, and then you could even have book Tiore as an extra option to hit. Both are really cheap, so having that would just benefit you a lot. So going on to this next one. Using the normal skill while normal skill damage boost is active, decreases the special attack cooldown by 60%, increases the ultimate move damage by 100, and it goes 60, 80, 100 boost, reduced cooldown for your special attack, and then goes up to 180% ult damage. This is for your greatsword. That is the growing ember. Your greatsword applies embers on Tristan. So I'll just show that real quick. Let me lower the cooldown just in case, because he's gonna yell "Sate, sate, sate" in my ear, and I already know it. So there you go. All right, so Tristan, greatsword, where is it? Ember stacks. So that's the whole point. Growing ember. This is for the greatsword. This is all about doing damage. His wind sword is a wind burst. Sadly, there is no like thing for that. You could, I guess, just go this one, or you could go this. And if they have a fire resistance debuff from maybe somebody else in your team's using Fire Tristan for his team, since your burst bar that you see in the boss is a separate entity from their burst bar that they see in the boss. It's the same boss you're fighting. If he has a fire resist debuff, he still has it for you, but you have your own burst. So it wouldn't benefit your wind team that you're using the Tristan single sword wind Tristan burst on, but it still would get this effect. So you would still get the normal skill cooldown reduction, but it just fire burst efficiency. So that's why it's like it's better to just maybe use this purple one or a 7 set with wind if you want to do that. There goes Tristan's. I think the both are really good. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna go over. I'm just gonna say which one I think is better. But if they're both good, I think they're both good. I think both of these are insanely solid. I think Great Sword is underrated because you could just go the SSR Gil you get for free, Rapier, Fire Burst, and then you go Great Sword and go crazy with damage. Especially with this, I think this puts his damage on par with a lot of SSRs. And then Dual Sword Tristan can just be a burst machine with this, and that's like the easiest team to build, one of the easiest teams to build. And you need fire for the current final dungeon. So until they make more content that resist fire, fire teams are going to be really good. Fire and earth teams are really solid right now, except for Red Demon. Obviously, Red Demon, if you hit him with any fire, he gets an attack buff. So next we go into Tiore. Tiores each hit on an enemy affected by combustion. This is the book. The only thing that applies combustion. Decreases their crit resistance by 1% for 15 seconds. It maxes out at 30%. And when the effect reaches its maximum, the enemy's normal skill damage taken increases by 10% for 15 seconds. So they literally get a debuff on them where they take more normal damage from your entire team. It's not just from you. You put a debuff on the enemy that now they take more normal damage. So let me just show this. I don't know why. A lot of people hate book Tiore, but I think it's really strong. So when an allied hero attacks an enemy with reduced fire resistance, their crit chance increases by 8%. So if you use her with Dual Sword Tristan, obviously they're meant to work together. She also reduces fire resistance here. So she applies it as well. But yeah, so you get their crit chance increases by 8% on that target. She applies combustion, which reduces the enemy's attack by 20%. And then each hit on an enemy affected by combustion decreases their crit resistance if you get the maximum effect up to 42%. Even at base at level 1, these are all different chances. Otherwise, I forgot to say that. 60, 30, and 10. When you make the gear, you have a 60% chance to get level 1, 30% chance level 2, 10% chance level 3. There you go. And then all these I'm just too many to go through, but yeah, you have pretty much like 1.69, 1.32 chance, 1.32 chance, 0.64. And then inside of that range of like RNG that you got for attack increases or defense increases, each one has 4 or 5, I mean, as like after getting the luck roll of getting a low to high roll, you then have the low or high roll inside of that for the leftover percentage of 7.63 to 7.87, or low roll is like 3.15 to 4.33. And that's the same on every single character for all their engravings. Yeah. So this helps fire team a ton. Even let's say fire team, it's like this one still works in general because it's just normal skill damage taken debuff increase and reducing their crit resistance. And then you're also it's just making anybody attack them have 8% more crit chance. So this is just really good in general. There's no like downside to that, and it's not really locking you to a team. And it's just debuff duration efficiency, meaning they last longer, and then normal skill damage increase on herself, so she can actually do some damage with the book now. And then you have your healing one, which I remember going over this, and I was like, wow, that's really strong. She gets healing efficiency, magic charging efficiency, so she could spam ults, increases healing efficiency by 40%, and using your special attack restores your tag gauge by 600. But this is the main thing I like. Healing efficiency by 50% at max with an extra 13.97 here, and you could still also get healing efficiency in your engraving rolls. And then your ultimate too applies burn for 20 seconds, and maxes 5 times, and burn reduces defense. So you're literally making it so the boss can take more damage every time because you're building your ult faster here. And then you're also making it so you get your tag gauge back, which in this one, let me make sure. I think wait. Here you go. Using your tag skill restores HP by 15% if the remaining HP is 30% or lower. And then, so you're making it easier to have tag when you come back to her. And then if you somehow get dupes, which obviously I feel like with SRs it's a lot easier, they also give you a free dupe in the game. I think it's pre-reg gives you a free dupe. It is this one makes your normal skill range bigger, meaning the AoE to sit in that heal is bigger, which is easier to get healed from. Your defense increase from that one thing is bigger. Your defense boost goes to all your allies, and then oh yeah, healing recovery, passives HP recovery from the tag skill power, and then normal skill HP recovery. So your AoE is bigger or better, and then right here. If you somehow just keep getting unlucky in banners, or I guess lucky if you wanted TRA, and you kept getting her SR dupes, your attack skill now just guarantees heals instead of like only when it's your low. But I think that when you're low one also procs. So this would proc when you're low the one time. You always get that extra one as well, so it's another heal. And then you also have this one where you keep getting your attack gauge back, so it's a lot easier to get it off. But yeah, that's Tiores. I think both are good, and obviously for different things. One's healer build, so obviously you would if you want to use her as a healer and you don't care about the book, then make this one. And if you want to use her with the book, then you go this one. If you like that book build and you want to like just nuke the boss. Sadly, the was it Earth Tiore does not have anything. Maybe later they'll make one, but for now that's just those two builds. Let's see, Dredrin. I feel like not many people are playing him, but we'll go over Dredrin. Barrier, defense, HP increase. This is pretty sure for using your attack skill increases defense 20%, barrier efficiency by 40. So this is for your sword and shield. Barrier, allies defense, and max HP of 100% of the heroes. That one's actually really good for survivability. So if you wanted to use Dredrin, like you needed somebody who's a good support, I feel like he actually might be overlooked a lot. I mean, he's kind of just like, oh, he's Grimoire's son. Who the hell likes Grimoire? You feel me? I've never I've never seen somebody be like, that is my favorite character. I made sure I kept pulling on the banner because I wanted to get maxed out Grimoire. I like never seen that. But hey, if Grimoire's your favorite character, he's a son. So like literally you could just get like put both of them on the same team, bro. You have a shield for days. But that one's really strong. It goes up to 30% defense boost on tag skill, and is it using attack skill increase defense by 30% and barrier efficiency by 60%. And then let's see. I wish it showed the tag skill here. You have to come over here for some reason. Yeah, so right now it does nothing, but if you use this, you actually get a buff now. So it actually becomes something. It becomes its like own ability. So that one's good. And then physical attack buff, debuff duration. This one is, yeah, so this one is pretty sure it's this one. Yeah. So this build is all about hitting people petrified, frozen, stunned, paralyzed. Restores tag gauge when you do that one with your normal skill. Your ultimate makes you do 30% more damage. Your passive decreases their defense of the enemy by 10% if you attack anybody affected by petrified, freeze, stunned, paralyzed. So now if you do the same thing, attacking that, frozen, petrified, anything where they become incapacitated, meaning they can't move, they can't action. Decreases the normal skill cooldown by up to from 70 up to 100% and restores tag gauge up to 2,000. It is one. Okay, so just for you guys to know, a full tag gauge, like 1 point, is 1,000. So getting 2,000 means you get 2 tag gauge back, right? So that's good on teams where they really rely on getting tagging in and out. Like let's say you're using Dredrin and you're using the Tiore and you have the Tiore one here where she could now heal with max dupes with her tag skill. So like something like that. Or like you want to swap back into your Meliodas after popping whatever, or doing damage or whatever. Or I guess let's say you use Freeze team or Petrify Earth team, something like that. Let's see, Hausers. It's gonna be a lot. I'm trying to go through. There's so many. There's 2 per character. Hausers, I'm pretty sure is for the first one is for your lance. So each hit on a bleeding enemy increases your wind damage by 2% for 15 seconds, maxes out 30%. This is default. When the effect reaches its maximum, the normal skill cooldown decreases by 60% to 25-second cooldown across the board. On the highest one, it goes from 2% per stack to 3% per stack. So it goes 2, 2.5, and 3. It maxes out at 45% instead of 30%, so it's a whole 15% boost. And when the effect reaches its max, you instantly get your normal skill cooldown. Pretty much all the cooldown ones, if it says like you get some kind of cooldown, it's going to be instant cooldown every time. So it is for this one. You apply bleed here. Hero gains gust. Inflicts damage equal to 50% of the damage dealt with your normal or skill or ult. That's a buff for you. Your normal skill applies bleed, does 276%, which is a lot, and then 406%, and then increases crit chance by 50% when you're attacking a bleeding enemy. The whole point is hitting a bleeding enemy. When you're hitting a bleeding enemy with this, you're getting increased wind damage. Honestly, it does kind of go with everything. It doesn't really like hold you to anything, so you could use this with all of them. I don't think the rest of these apply bleed, but Wind Team has a lot of characters that apply bleed. So like when an allied hero attacks a bleeding enemy, they have more wind damage. The strike crit resistance if the enemy's bleeding, so it decreases the crit resistance up to 15%. And then you increase all your ally heroes crit damage or wind heroes. So that's really good. And then it still works if, like, let's say you're using you could use Slater and he's not wind, but his axe applies bleed. So this applies bleed. This is a better bleed. Like this is deep wound. The grants a hero enhanced bleed, so he does more damage. And then when they're bleeding and an allied hero attacks them, they have more crit damage. So they would go together if you use like Hauser with his gauntlets and then that. Or you could still use Lance and go full DPS because this is all about DPSing against bleeding enemies. And then I'm gonna move on to this one. So this one is, did I go over his substats? Wind attack, dot efficiency. There you go. So your bleed does more damage. It's either it does more damage or it lasts longer. I'm pretty sure it does more damage though. And then you have special attack damage increased by 19% on secure adventure engravement. Crit 6.8%. Debuff duration efficiency. Okay, yeah. So dot efficiency is dot damage. Debuff duration efficiency is the debuff length. There you go. Debuff duration length. Landing the special attack decreases your crit defense by 40% for 15 seconds, 40% chance to inflict additional damage equal to 60% of the attack, and bleed for 10 seconds. So this also works. I guess this also works for all of your kits because it's attack and bleed. I think it just would do less if you didn't apply bleed, unless this is saying you would do bleed. Unless this is saying chance to inflict damage equal to 80% of attack and then bleeds. It's either that or yeah, it might be that. I think it's just extra damage and it's like a chance to do extra damage and apply bleed. So this would make it so your other kits that don't have bleed built in can now put bleed. And then landing your special attack reduces the enemy's crit defense by up to 60 from 40. So yeah, that's insane. This thing is insane, and still being able to apply bleed on your other kits is insane, because especially on gauntlets, which I think this is what it's made for, this whole thing is about, like right here, if they're bleeding, you would decrease the crit resistance. Allies hitting bleeding enemies have more wind damage, meaning you get more wind damage because you're applying that bleed. 50% chance to reset the special attack cooldown, which means you can apply this again, because every time you apply this, they can reduce crit resistance. And then this one just buffs your wind damage, wind crit damage, and then yeah. So that's really good. I think both are really good. Pretty much like when I went through most of all of these, pretty much both are usually amazing. I think there's like one that I was like, that's kind of whatever. Usually it's both are really good though. It's build dependent. Hauser's is pretty universal, but a lot of these, as you've seen, were pretty build dependent. Like they were pretty focused like on one thing. Speaking of being focused on one thing, I'll just say that as a segue to this one. So this is the one I have on. This is the one I made the video on. I didn't even get to use this at its full capacity because now I have the axe. I was using an SR axe and I was showcasing the longsword, but because I have this armor and it's for the axe, I was like, hey, let me use the purple axe I have to showcase, hey, look how good this makes the axe, even when you're using a SR, where you're getting the least amount of benefit. Right? So this one is activating a burst increases your attack by 28%, crit chance by 6%. So it's the same as your dual blades in a sense. I think they're all the same. All Black Flames might be doing the same thing. It's not like this one where the actual sword you get from, and I'm going to show this here, the exchange. People said I dropped 1,000, bro. If I had to drop 1,000, I would have had this already. This is one multi. Everybody, I have this on my free-to-play account. I logged in and did one multi on the banner, went here and bought this. I don't even have Meliodas on my free-to-play account. I literally don't even have Meliodas on my free-to-play account, and I bought this in one multi. I went in, did one pull on the banner, one multi, and then bought that. So everybody in the game should be able to get the sword for Meliodas, the single sword. The single sword works better for this one. But yeah, because this one is Infernal Release, increases normal skill damage by 50% for 5 seconds while the effect is active. Back attacks have a 25% chance to decrease your special attack cooldown by 70%, and after it procs, it then has a cooldown. It goes up to 80%. I have level 2, so that's probably why mine's like really hidden, even with it as a purple. But this one, level 3, goes up to 80% damage boost on your normal skill, which is your main damage skill. The whole point is you're like trying to get, when you have Infernal Releases, or when you have Demon Energy, your normal skill resets. So attack an enemy affected by demon energy resets a hero's normal skill cooldown and then removes that demon energy. This applies 1 for each hit of, and it does 2. So it goes 1, 2. The first one applies demon energy. The second one applies demon energy again, so it means it consumes it and becomes Infernal Release. When you get Infernal Release, you do more damage. So you're supposed to swap into attack skill, which applies it. Pop this. You eat it, or you could apply this, hold charge, which resets it. Hold charge, let go. 1, 2. It puts another Infernal Release, and then puts another demon energy, and then you pop this, and then you pop this. Then you hopefully got a reset off this. Pop this again, and you probably have enough for your ult. Pop your ult, because now he has 3 Infernal Release stacks, and then you go 1, full charge, normal skill, swap out. And by then, the boss has like half HP if you're fully built, maybe less, like 25%. At a purple axe I had it, the boss had like half HP. So I'm assuming with a leveled up, level 50, actually good enchants, SSR axe, that boss is going to be dead. I'm assuming. Your actually the new adventure one, the coat that everybody ends up going, and I don't even think people knew what this one did. They just knew that this one's good for dual blades and single sword, but I think it's more meant for the single sword. But yeah, darkness attack, cooldown reduction. It's pretty universal. I think it's even good for the axe too if you really wanted to use it, because it's also normal skill. All 3 are based on their normal skill pretty much. Each normal skill used inflicts damage equal to 25% of damage dealt for 13 seconds when a burst is activated. Restores attack gauge by 400 if an attack target does not have a burst activated while the effect is active. So yeah, 13% does like, it's like, in a sense, like I think it's like a bleed pretty much. And then you get tag gauge back. So it's like a lot. Obviously, you would pretty much, if you're not using this one, you use this one. You could, if you feel like a 7 set is more powerful, you could use a 7 set instead. But I think this is still really good. And then maybe there's like SSR 3 set accessories in the shop crafting shop that you could use instead of the ones that you could earn in game. Because one of the ones you could earn in game is about like tagging. So if you don't feel like tag gauging, you don't feel like that's fun combat, then you could just use something else. But both are really good. I mean, I literally just showed on the video. I literally used a purple axe in my last video where I showcased sword. Check in the middle. I used the axe to showcase it. I pretty much nuked the boss, and I had a purple axe. I was only like level 30. Let's go to Guild Thunders. Holy Knight of Lightning. Activating a burst increases your enemy shock duration by 6 seconds and restores the tag gauge by 1200. Activating a burst increases enemy shock duration by 10 seconds and restores tag gauge by 2000. This one's about debuffing burst. So this one is for Guild Thunder's sword. Pretty sure Guild Thunder's base sword is about bursting. So right here. Additionally increases burst gauge by 20 with each hit on a shocked enemy. When the hero activates lightning burst, the enemy's lightning resistance decreases by 15%. So he makes it so your lightning team can nuke. This is why I said just go Great Sword Drake, because Great Sword Drake, and I'm going to show you guys later, with his unique equip as well, or engraved equipment, becomes broken as hell. And so, especially when you get dupes on him. So then, that's why you want to go this one, go Lightning Burst Guild Thunder, because he's come super OP. So, Lightning Burst efficiency, debuff duration efficiency, cooldown. And obviously you could use this in melee, because anybody who's a good burster for that element is good for melee, because melee wants them to already be bursted so you can apply his dark damage. But yeah, activating a burst increases your enemy shock duration, so they get the shock bleed for longer, and then it restores the tag gauge by 2000. That's, I mean, mainly is just you're getting, I guess, for the tag gauge. I guess the shock damage is cool because there is some characters that like rely on them being shocked for their effects to go off, and especially future characters. And then you have his other outfit, Exemplary Adventurer. 20% chance to decrease a normal skill cooldown by 60% and increase all allied heroes' defense by 20 for 15 seconds when hitting a taunted enemy. Obviously, if they're taunted, you can use another character who maybe applies taunt and then swap to him. I don't really think you're going to be using him with like Diana or anything like that. You could, but I don't really like mixing up elements but too often. But that's his sword and shield. I think his sword and shield is also really good. I think all his stuff is really good, but I definitely would rather just use his first one or his second one. His second one with that becomes really good. He taunts right here with his stance, and he gets 40% damage reduction. So you could eat a lot of hits. Especially if you end up popping your barrier first and then pop that, you pretty much can eat most hits in the entire game. Gila, the SSR character, has a 65% damage reduction, but I think this one is still good. But yeah, he has a 20% chance, and it goes up with the right here. It goes to guarantee, just like I said earlier. But yeah, 60% chance base to increase all allied heroes' defense or normal skill cooldown by 60% and increase all allied heroes' defenses by 20% for 15 seconds when hit by a taunted enemy. So all you do is pop your shield, hold it, get hit, let go. Or you could keep holding it if you feel the boss is going to keep hitting you a bunch until it breaks, pretty much. And it goes up to guaranteed cooldown reset, and which is this, your normal skill is your shield. So you want to get hit so then you could get your shield. So you could shield, taunt, shield again. And then you buff your whole team's defense. Both are good. I mean, it just goes for like survivability, sword and shield, bursting with the single sword. So now we're on to Elaine. I'm trying to run through this quick, man. All right, so wind attack and crit chance. This is for her wand, wind wand. Each crit damage boost gained decreases the normal skill cooldown by 1 second, increases your wind attack by 16%, max out of 48%. That's 3 times. Each one stacks 3 times, 20% 6 to 60, obviously 20 times 3, 24 to 72% maxed out. And then each crit damage boost gained decreases the skill cooldown from 1, 2, and then max out of 3. So literally every time you crit with your normal skill, which I think hits like 2 or 3 times, so that boom, you're pretty much getting the cooldown back right there. If you don't get it all the way back, you just got to use your special skill, which then reduces it again. Oh yeah, and it says each crit damage boost gained, which is here we go. Yeah, so pretty much you throw it and it reduces the crit resistance. And you get 3 stocks of it. So you can like throw it, throw it, throw it. That reduces it by 9 seconds, 17.3 seconds. And then you pop this and hold this. And each hit of this reduces your normal skill cooldown by 3 seconds. So instead of it starting from super high up, it's already 8-ish seconds. And then if you hit this for 3 seconds, like 1, 2, and probably by then it's already back because obviously there's a timer, the default timer of it's already also going down. So then you use like 1, 2, throw it again. So that one, it makes your wind build good. You would have to pretty much have, I think, Hauser with his wind build where you're reducing the enemy's crit defense as well. And then maybe with Slater, who reduces their crit chance or the crit resistance. I think and then Hauser reduces the crit resistance, and then she buffs her own crit chance right here. So each attack on a enemy with wind burst activated increases the crit chance by 33%. That does not stack. And then this increases your crit damage. Hauser reduces their crit defense, and Hauser makes them take more wind damage. And then Hauser also reduces their crit resistance. And then if you have Slater, he reduces their crit resistance. And if they're bleeding, they take more crit damage. So it's like, yeah. That team can get it pretty crazy. I think that's like that fun, like another fun way to use Elaine. This Elaine one is obviously for holy. She only has 1 holy weapon. So this is for your staff. But holy attack, all element burst efficiency. That's what it's about. Your holy staff is increase her base. She just base passive increases all the heroes all elemental burst efficiency by 20%. That's just base. Like it just does that. And it restores 2 magic points of activating a burst, and that's a 20-second cooldown. So it gives you 2 ult orbs. And then your actual skill is like this really small AoE in the ground, not moving. Burst efficiency increase for all elements. But you have to be standing in the thing. So you have to literally go up to the boss. Like, remember to always dash in, slap it on the ground, and then swap to your other character, and then go crazy. You always have to remember that. But yeah, activating burst restores magic gauge by 1500, increases all ally heroes tag skill damage by 30% for 20 seconds. Obviously, because you want to like, you're just trying to pop your skills and swap off, so you're always playing off tags anyways. So that's really good. And then maxed out, it's 2000 and increases all allied heroes tag skill gauges by 50% for 20 seconds. I'm pretty sure magic gauge, each orb is also 1000. So that would give you 2 orbs. So activating a burst gives you 2 orbs. And then your passive also is activating a burst gives you 2 orbs. So you'd literally get 4 orbs. I'm pretty sure it's 1000. So that's 4 orbs instantly. And most time when you're done with your combo, I have like 2 orbs already. So that would be like, what, 6 orbs? I could literally swap to Meliodas after that and then literally fry. Or I could swap to like another like fire element or wind element or whatever. And then you're going to be doing more damage on the tag in. So both are good. It just wind is a little bit harder to get off because I do think that Hauser and other people need their engrave equipments for it to feel like it's really, really strong. And she definitely needs hers. And then you need like an SSR wand on her, probably another SSR weapon. That's usually when you have 2 SSR weapons, your stats are just high, like just really high. Obviously, when you get 3, you'll end up like my Meliodas, who has, with this sword, I have 16,323. Let's say if I equip the axe, like, see, I only have like 14k. So once you like actually put investment into it, it goes up really high. So if you had double SSRs on here and had her SSR wand at like level 40, 50, and then everything maxed out here, she would go crazy. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to King. I do not own King, so I cannot show you what he is in game. But Holy Attack, ultimate move damage increased by 10.31%. Each hit increases crit chance by 1.2% for 20 seconds. Gaining full bloom increases your holy damage by 60% for 10 seconds. I'm pretty sure I've seen one of his kits. His ultimate was like the giant flower, so that's probably what that one is. Or whatever. If you guys have King, this is his holy build one. But yeah, each hit up to 2%, up to 20% increased crit chance, and gaining full bloom increases your holy damage by 80% for 10 seconds. And it's a 20-second cooldown, meaning there's a 10-second like timer window before being able to have the buff again. But the cool thing is you get the 20-second buff. So this one pretty much is probably never going away. But the full bloom one does go away, and you have to wait like 10 seconds in between. Then you have his healing set, which a lot of people like King for healing. He probably is like the easiest healer to pull off without any kind of investment. And then with investment, obviously dupes, but especially your engraving equipment, it's going to be insane. And obviously engraving equipment's easier to build because one, they made the farming a little bit better, and then the like the stages are hard. I'm been soloing them even when I barely got to tier 4, and I was just doing the dragon boss soloing it. And I'm pretty sure each set goes like Star Guardian into Revived, which is from Dragon and Spider Boss. So if you hate doing those, good luck. I hate fighting Gila and the Spider Boss, but you know, you're gonna have to push through it. But yeah, this is your healing set. HP increase, healing efficiency. Always good to have healing efficiency in there, especially in HP increases scales of HP. Each hit on the enemy affected by damage taken boosts increases barrier efficiency up to 16% per and up to 80% max from 50. So 10% 50, 16% 80. And so he gives it a fat barrier. He already gives him damage taken increase, and then he also has a big fat heal, and so he gets healing efficiency here. So he has healing efficiency, barrier efficiency. He has damage taken built in. Yeah, this unit is really good. Obviously, maybe on this one you go like healing efficiency substat, HP increase substat, and then whatever else that scales off of it. You go barrier efficiency substat as well. But yeah, both are great, and I definitely like obviously just DPS and healing. I think I mean, you could go DPS in King though. I think DPS King is really cool. From some videos I've seen. But healing King, any healers is warranted right now. It makes it so you could actually do better builds or cooler builds. I don't need a healer per se with Meliodas, but I'm gonna go for Gauntlet Diana's actual armor, and you're gonna see why, because she becomes healer in one of them. So that helps a lot. Or Gauntlet Diana's becomes healer. That's pretty much it. Here's Xraypc. Xraypc. Physical attack 796, debuff duration efficiency 30.17%. Obviously, this is for his first one, his rapier. Literally, he buffs like dot damage, it decreases dot interval. Anytime you see that, it means the dots tick now faster in the same duration. And it's for shocked and bleeding enemies. So he decreases the dot interval as a debuff he puts on them, and it's 20%. And when it's attacking shocked or bleeding enemies, you could use them on the Gil Thunder team, or you could use them on like Hauser team or anything like that. Anybody who applies bleeds, Slater, anything like that. Okay. So landing the special attack on an enemy taking dot damage increases the dot duration by 6 seconds, and it decreases the special attack cooldown by 50%, cooldown 15, and it goes up to guaranteed, just reduced cooldown, and decreases the dot durations by 10 seconds. And I'm pretty sure this is all this is tied into this 15-second cooldown. So there's like a 5-second downtime in between. And then he has his other one, normal skill damage increase, debuff duration, efficiency, cooldown reduction. Attacking, this is Earth one. Attacking a petrified enemy increases the duration of petrified by 6 seconds and restores tag gauge by 700. Cooldown for 20 seconds, increases your ultimate move's Earth damage by 12%. You could use this still on like your bleed one or something else, with like a lane who does petrify, and I think Diana Nunchucks does too, and then obviously future units that do petrify, and that goes up to 10 seconds, 1,000 tag gauge, 20%. I like this one more. I just don't see bosses getting petrified anymore. Like Red Demon, the dungeon bosses, any big boss. Little mobs do get petrified. So petrify is still good there, but I don't know if it's a bug, but literally no boss in this game gets petrified anymore. Like no big boss. So petrify went from kind of like amazing because you could stop Red Demon midair when he's about to jump and it would put him on cooldown again, and he would change his movesets sometimes, or to like a kind of whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I popped the Elaine's ult, and I'm like, well, that's useless. So what do I do with that now? But let's move on to Hendrickson. Healing efficiency, magic charging efficiency, HP increase. Healing efficiency 9, magic charging 10.06, and HP increased by 2.8%. Using your ultimate move increases all allied heroes healing received by 50% for 14 seconds if the remaining HP is 30% or lower. It goes all the way up to 80% increase, 14 if their HP is 30% or lower. And that is for your single sword right here. If you get one dupe, I'm pretty sure you could use that special skill twice, and also changes the healing efficiency boost to be effect to be applied 2 times. I think it's 2 times on one use. So, or maybe it's increase the hero's efficiency by 20% now. The wording is weird. I wish it just said doubled in power or something. I'm assuming it's because you could use it twice, and then it says 20%. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if when it says you could use it twice. If I wish I had the extra dupe up there, but I can't remember if it says like say you could use it twice, but it doesn't say anything about stacking. So I think you would just reduce the duration, but this should be 20%. Or you increase the duration again. It wouldn't stack on itself. It goes to 20% out because I dupe. And then you get this one. Using your ultimate move increases all allied heroes healing received by 80% for 14 seconds if the remaining HP is at 30% or lower. So literally you would just pop his heal once and then go all the way to max HP. And then his other one, I think is this for his DPS set? Physical attack, crit chance. So this is for your dual blades. Teleports and stuns. Increases your crit chance. Back attacks crit damage. Decreases their movement speed by 30%. Enemies with reduced movement speed get stunned. And then when ally attacks a hero or enemy with reduced movement speed, their crit chance increases. So he has a lot of crit and a lot of debuffs. So this one is using your ultimate move decreases a special attack cooldown by 60%, obviously for up to free, and increases your physical damage by 40% up to 60% increased physical damage buff, and there's a 15-second downtime. So both are great. I'd rather use the heal, but if you want to go DPS Hendrickson, he's your favorite character, then go for this one. If you want to use DPS Hendrickson, go physical build. All right, so we're moving on to Slater. So Slater's first one is special attack damage increase, normal skill damage increase, and it's increased damage dealt to stun enemies by 25%. Landing a special attack on a stun enemy increases the stun duration by 3 seconds, up to 5-second increase. Everything stays the same here, and then it goes from 20 to 25 to 35% damage increase. That is for your greatsword, I think. Yeah, increased damage to stun enemies. And then here, and then if the enemy is a fire burst, they get stunned. So increased damage dealt to stun enemies by 30% just in general. And then this skill has a 20%, so they would get even buffed even more. And then also landing your special attack on a stun enemy increases the stun duration, meaning they're stunned longer, so you can get more benefit off your moves and then swap to somebody safely. And then you have special attack and normal skill in damage increase. And your next one is for your great axe because of debuffs. So physical attack, debuff duration efficiency, and dot efficiency. Your great axe is all about putting bleeds and debuffs. I think this one's about being stunned too. Attack stuns, 2 points of burst. Additionally, increases burst gauge by 30 on a stun enemy is hit. Increase allies tag skill damage and then inflicts damage. So this one can be used for it too because there is like some benefit of stun, and then this one stuns. Like this one just straight up stuns. So you can either go the fire one and then stun with your ult, or you can go this one and stun with your special attack. One's obviously a shorter cooldown, easier to build up. This one needs ult gauge, but both of them work with that. But obviously your axe is the only debuff dot based one, and then this one is if an attack on an enemy taking dot, it results in a critical hit. Your great axe reduces their crit resistance, so it's easier to get that. The dot interval decreases by 16% for 10 seconds. It goes all the way up to 30% dot interval decrease by 10 seconds, and it does not stack. There's a 15-second cooldown. And then you get dot efficiency, so more dot damage, debuff duration efficiency, so it lasts longer on them, and a physical attack, which I think also helps your dot bleed. I'm not sure. Actually, no, bleed is wind damage, right? So it shouldn't. So maybe bleed is super good on wind teams because I think that would make your bleed do more damage for wind boosting and wind resistance reduction. But yeah, let's see. You have Holy Knight of the Iron Wall. So this is Grimoire, so we'll move on to Grimoire next. But yeah, both are great. But I definitely just use the bleed one. I think his bleed great axe is amazing. But yeah, Grimoire next. 10% chance to increase all allied heroes' defense by 40% and grants barriers equal to 20% of max HP for 4 seconds. So you have another chance of get barrier right here when the allied heroes hit. If a barrier is already active, their effect's duration is extended by 4 seconds. That's a 10-second cooldown. It goes up to 6 seconds. 10% chance for 60%, decrease all allied heroes' defense by 60% and grant a barrier as 30% of max HP for 6 seconds. That one's pretty good. Obviously, for survivability, his base weapon, I'm pretty sure, is Sword and Shield. And then you have right here, the damage taken reduction in stance. When allied hero has a barrier, their defense increases. You get defense increase over here. Decreases the enemy's shatter resistance. I think shatter. Man, I wish they had something in game that explained it. I'm pretty sure shatter. It's either like defense like breaking or it's like getting stunned or something. But it looks great. I don't use Grimoire, but if you use Grimoire, there you go. His other one is physical attack, barrier efficiency, gain a 30% physical damage boost or barrier equal to 6% of max HP every 15 seconds upon entering combat. Does not stack and effect is removed when combat ends. So every 15 seconds, you just get a shield or a damage boost. I don't really like the RNG on this one, but I think it's just a buff. So it lasts. So you get physical damage for 15 seconds, or then it ticks again. And then you might get the barrier now. If you get the barrier, I think you lose the physical damage. So if it works like that, that's terrible. But we'll see. I guess if somebody ends up building that and talks about it, we'll see. Oops. All All right, so the next one we'll move on to is Bug. This one I'm more interested in because I actually use Bug. So it's Darkness attack, crit damage. Each critical hit increases dark damage by 3.5% for 10 seconds, up to 35% dark damage increase. While the effect is active, attacking an enemy with burst activated increases their burst duration by 4 seconds, cooldown 12. So it goes up to 4.5 up to 45% while the effect is active. Attacking an enemy with burst activated increases their burst duration by 6 seconds. I'm pretty sure that works with your axe and your dual blades. I think it works for book too, but I don't know why you would use that with book. But yeah, dual blades, back attack has more damage. Back attack resets the special attack cooldown. This one increases your dark damage by 10% up to 30. Then your hero teleports behind, so you're always doing back attack. Guaranteed at least to get one off. And then each hit additional 32% attack enemies with Darkness Burst activated. Final Strike removes Darkness Burst. The only annoying thing is the whole point is you want to increase the Darkness duration. You could just get like crit chance gear put on book. So your book ends up, you extend their Darkness burst. So then you swap back to Meliodas as his pump. So it's weird. Maybe like full end game build, you might have enough crit that your book, one of your couple hits, say you do crits, and then you get that big effect. I don't think the crit damage boost is a thing that goes on all your heroes, but I could be wrong because there's a lot of characters that get buffs that seems like a personal thing, and then you swap and you still have it. So we'll see. And then we have this one, which is Demon Stealth, which is definitely for book, but it's also for dagger too. Back attacks have a 30% chance to increase darkness damage by 30%, decrease the normal skill cooldown by 60% for 8 seconds. Right here, back attacks have a 38% chance at max to increase damage by 50% and decrease the normal skill cooldown by 100%. So actually more might be definitely more for your dual blades. Yeah, back attacks are set special cooldown, and then this one says decreases normal skill cooldown. So you literally you pop this. Let's say you pop this. Wait. Yeah. So you pop this, pop your special. Your special goes and hits a back attack. You reset the cooldown on your special. You hit your normal skill, and then you hit your special again. And it might. And then it probably would let you do your normal skill again. And then when you're back attacking, anyways, you're doing more damage. So that one actually is really good, and it still works with the book because you have the. Yeah, it could work a book, but I think it's better for dual blades. All right, so this one is Jericho. First one is Dual Blade Jericho. Each back attack increases your burst gauge by 20 and decreases cold burst resistance by 2% for 10 seconds, maxes out at 20%, and it goes up to each back attack increases the burst gauge by 30 instead of 20 and decreases the cold burst resistance by 3%, maxing out at 30%, so it's 10 stacks, which is pretty easy to get off on your dual blades because your dual blades are attacking so fast. Let me put that spell on silent. Ooh. So yeah, dual blades is all about bursting the enemy, so that's really good. That makes her do her job better. But yeah, this literally is pretty mandatory. If you want to go dual blades, you have to get that. That's amazing. Cold burst efficiency, and you're reducing their cold burst resistance, meaning it's even easier to cold burst. And even if it's a debuff on the enemy, meaning if you swap to Manny and use her for cold damage, you are actually still bursting the boss. And she's not as useless on doing burst just in case you have no cooldowns. But a lot of time you're just straight auto attacking because that's like the whole point of her. Activating Hero's Cold Burst decreases enemy's cold resistance by 25% for 30 seconds and restores attack point. This also reduces their cold resistance right here for every back attack. And if you do enough back attacks to burst, boom. You also get Frozen Saber there. Using a normal attack teleports a hero behind the enemy, so you get your back attacks instantly. Enemy if it's 15 damage of attack and increases their burst gauge by 20. So this is increasing your burst gauge by 20 for each back attack. So now it's every back attack is doing 40 burst gauge. And then decreasing their cold resist right here. And then when you burst them, 25% here. So that's literally, if you can get up to here, it's 30% plus 25. So that's 55% cold resist reduction. So yeah, it ends up going from she's pretty strong, and a lot of people just use her for melee, to she's insane, and Ice Team is actually a contender for a top team. So her other one is, I think, for Rapier. Is it Rapier or this one? No, it's this one. It's this one. Lance. I'm pretty sure it's always first one, second one, first one, second one, first one, second one. I don't even think they for the third one. It's like they have anything for that yet for all of them. But yeah, barrier efficiency 17.46%, buff duration efficiency 30.17%, meaning your buffs last longer. And then her thing is each defense boost gained increases your barrier efficiency by 6 up to 60 and 8 up to 80, and then it's 770. It's all by up to 10 stacks. Each defense increases from your frozen breath, so all allied heroes gain frozen breath for 20 seconds with each hit when the enemy has a barrier. Or when the hero has a barrier, stacks up to 10 times. So it goes up to 30% defense, 50% fire defense, and 50% earth defense. And then also you have barrier efficiency. So when you do pop your barrier, it's a huge barrier. Additionally, increases cold damage by 20% when a frozen breath is at its max. So you get more of that. And then also right here, Fire Strike grants all allied heroes barrier equal to 20% of max HP for 20 seconds, which is pretty solid. And then additionally increases all allied heroes cold damage by 20% for 40 seconds if the hero already had a barrier. So that's amazing. And because barriers are bigger and last longer, it's a lot easier for you to get that next barrier skill by then. Both are great. Is survivability and insane debuffing, but also damage because normal attack damage increased by 31% and 18.6% cold burst. So you're bursting it faster and doing more damage, and then doing more damage because you're reducing your cold resistance even more than you're normally doing, and you're bursting them way faster than you're normally doing. Wait, there you go. Gila. So let's look at the first one. I'm pretty sure this is for Lance. Yeah, so this is for Lance because it does impulse. Your Lance applies impulse stacks. So increase your buff duration by 3% for 30 seconds each time impulse is gained. Stacks up 10 times. Using your ultimate move increases your normal skill damage by 10% for each buff duration boost stack for 30 seconds, maxing out at 100%. Goes up from 4% from 3 for 30 seconds each time impulse is gained, so that stacks up to 40. Using your ultimate move increases normal skill damage by 15 for each buff duration boost stack for 30 seconds at 150%. So using your normal move or ultimate move increases your normal skill damage by 15% for each buff duration boost stack for 30 seconds, up to 150% damage. This will do insane damage. And also, it's getting in demon form. You get increased damage dealt to enemies with fire burst activated. It says buff duration stacks. I'm assuming it's talking about impulse stacks. So I'm assuming, yeah, it's just talking about the stacks of impulse. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. It's a buff duration from its own thing. I was like, buff duration or kit. My eyes are getting cross-eyed freaking reading this much. Back to back, holy. But yeah, Light Footsteps is our next one. And always remember, Star Guardian revived. Star Guardian is from Hell Gila and Hell of the dude with the maces. This guy literally says right here, you just gotta click Star Guardian, and then Dragon has revived and the Spider Boss. So if you hate fighting the Spider Boss and you hate fighting the Dragon, you might not want to go for this set first, because if you're going in there weak as hell already and you hate fighting that fight, then it's just not worth going through the trouble. Like, let's say you don't even have a fire unit built, like you can't even take on the Spider Boss. You can't even get through the dungeon without fire. So you need at least one fire unit going in. That's why I always recommend Sword and Shield Gila, because she's just a universal thing. She just has a shield and stuff, and a damage reduction. All right, so Light Footsteps restores the tag gauge by 150 when hit by a taunted enemy for Sword and Shield. Using the tag skill decreases the normal skill cooldown by 30% up to 50%. So this is like one of the few that's not a guaranteed reduction in a cooldown. Or using your tag skill is literally just when you tag, let's say you pop your shield, pop your taunt, boom, you swap out and then swap immediately back in, right? You have 3 tag bars. You swap out, you use one, you swap back in, you use the second one. You get up to 50% of your cooldown back for your shield, and then you show it only take a short while. Then you get you pretty much can just pop shield again. She has barrier efficiency, HP increase, so your shield's big, just big and fat. All right, so both are great. Sword and shield. So this one, once you get the SSR lance for free, OP. I really think this kit is really strong, especially if you end up getting lucky and get a dupe for her. I think it's really strong, especially with the right team, dual sword Tristan, maybe a good TRA, and then like some kind of great fourth unit that you like using. But if you want to use her in a more universal sense or as a tank on the fire team, then getting the light footsteps one is better because it restores tag gauge by 150 when hit by a taunted enemy, and then using your tag skill then decreases your shield cooldown. So it's like boom, you get hit by a taunted enemy, and every hit, it's not even like cooldown. I think it's this one is its own thing. Then dot. Using tag skill decreases normal cooldown by 50% for every 10-second cooldown. So literally hold shield, and sometimes I ate like 10, 12 hits. The tankier you are, the easier it does. Takes the longer to get broken. But like I'll be like 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hit, 4 hit, 5, and it breaks. So literally that would be 1,000 right there. Just for if you max this out. It's still good base, but you want level 2, and if you're like really feeling it, you can keep farming if you feel like you just want to go for level 3. This is like your favorite unit. It's for Meliodas. I'd recommend trying to get level 2 for both of his stuff. I have the level 2 for the Axe one, helps a ton, and if you can get the level 2 for the the normal white coat, then I'd go for that too. Most of these level 2 is fine. Some of these you need level 3 though. I think both Aguilas is great though. But yeah, I think I would go for the short and shield just because I feel like, well, it depends. You have to be really good at like when to use your moves, when to swap in with the DPS lance. It's a lot harder than her other 2 weapons. So if you're down for that, then use it. And then we're moving on to Diane, and this is where it gets crazy. So Diane. Their first one, I think, is for your axe. So yeah, 2 hands. So it always literally goes first weapon, second weapon for all of them. There's not one character I've seen so far that has been a third weapon type of thing. I think your third weapon is just like some random weapon because her axe she always uses a giant mace anyways. I think maybe one time in the show or one time in the manga she used the axe, but I'm pretty sure it's always a mace. I don't think they have a mace archetype. So the maces and axes are in a sense put together in an archetype. Oh my God. But dude, get off, Hyde. Get up. Hey. I fixed it and I look and I'm like, come on, bro. It's all right. I read it out to you guys. You don't need to see it. You can just look on the game and look on the website. I'm gonna link in the thing down below anyways. Increases damage dealt to enemies with Earth's Burst activated by 20%. Sit down right here. Sit down right here. Down. Sit down. Okay, now you're on my bed. Increases damage dealt to enemies with Earth Burst activated by 25% for Breaker right here. So yeah, each hit with the special attack on an enemy affected by Breaker decreases normal skull cooldown 14%. No stacking, just each hit special attack infected decreases up to 20%. Let me throw that on. I just want to see what that looks like. So it's special attack. Each hit with your special attack on an enemy reduces the normal skull cooldown. So your charge, one, boom, boom. So there you go. So that's twice. It would go to 40% reduced cooldown on your normal skill. This is your normal skill, and it's 18. So I don't even want to do the math in my own head. 7.2, I mean. It would go down to 7. It would reduce the cooldown by 7.2. So I think that's an 18-second cooldown with no other cooldown reduction from gear. No, 20-second cooldown without any other cooldown reduction from gear. Once you get cooldown reduction from gear, though, you're good. A fully charged attack resets the cooldown when landing the final strike on an enemy affected by Breaker. So literally, like you could reset the cooldown for this. So you hit Breaker, 10-second when attacking them 5 times. Inflict stun for 4 seconds. The first time the effect is inflicted. Inflicts damage equal to 150% of defense. Increases damage taken from the caster for 30%. So literally, it stuns the first time, and every other time you keep applying it, It now only does the inflict damage 150% of defense and increases damage taken from you for 10 seconds by 30%. And then as long as that's on them, you get full charge E, full charge E, or no, you get full charge E, full charge E, full charge E, and you should just be able to do that. I don't know when the timer ends up running out. It's pretty sure it's just 5 hits, right? So you could try to mix things in there. So you could like full charge, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then just it would come back, and then just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then just to make kind of mix things in so that you could like mix autos in, so you could constantly have that breaker up because it only happens every 5 hits. So it goes like your skill would go 1, 2, and then you do your E. That's 3 hits. So you have to mix some autos in there just in case to keep your breaker up longer. I guess your next axe spin would apply breaker again. I guess because then it'll be 1, 2 as long as you get the full charge off. So that's amazing though. Special attack damage, which is your one that you're going to be spamming a lot. Crit chance, so you can get bigger hits, and defense increase because that's why you need defense increase for her, so that she just is bigger damage. You have that one thing that scales off defense, which is another reason you could run like Hendrickson because you get that one kit. It makes like your dupes on Hendrickson, which is really easy. I already have 2 dupes. He's an SR character. You just randomly get lucky on the banner or something. So you have this one increases it by 10% of your normal skill. So now it goes to a 30% defense increase. Guild Thunder has a defense increase, but you're probably going to use like somebody like Hendrickson because he's a or Tiore. Tiore's a really good one too. Tiore Earth. Obviously, you won't be able to get the engraved equipment, but you could just put the 7 set for Earth on her. Increases the earth damage of allies in range by 3%, stacks up to 5 times. That's 15%. Passively just increases the defense of allied heroes by 25% when an allied hero activates Earth Burst. And then you right here you break burst gauge of enemies who step on the wall by 100. And then Earth Burst. Attack an enemy with Earth Burst activated inflicts damage equal to defense. So she scales off defense too, and then she puts that. You swap to Diane. Every time this procs, it adds to the burst gauge by a ton, and then you just use Diane. Boom. And also, if you have a lane decreases their Earth Burst resistance and increases Earth damage. So then, yeah, Earth Diane just becomes insane. And then your team literally could be also King if you want, or Meliodas, or some kind of physical character or a holy character. And this team just goes crazy. This may make her nuts with that axe. Oh, wait, I didn't even read this part. Decreases normal. So I was just like thinking about that first thing. And then decreases and increases your earth damage by 8%. Max of each, 80 and 32. Oh, okay. Okay, your earth cooldown. I don't know why they worded it like this. Earth cooldown, 80%, 32% for damage. Max of each. Yeah, I guess it's the normal cooldown, the stacks. I don't know. I don't really understand why they worded it like that, but yeah. And then Cheerful Girl. This is your gauntlets, right? Your second one. So your gauntlets. So using your ultimate move, which is when she goes into her heavy metal form, which allows you to burst easier, get burst gauge when heavy metal is active. And then heavy metal is increase the enemy's burst gauge by 50. Just on use, this increases it by 50. It increases that hero's earth shadow resistance by 3% for 20 seconds when hit. And that stacks 10 times. And each time you gain shadow resistance, you heal. Using your ultimate move restores HP equal to 12.5% of max HP each time shadow resistance boost is gained within 15 seconds. So within that window, every single time the enemy hits you, you gain from 10 to 15% of total HP. Normal skill damage increases by 35% for 5 seconds when burst activated. Obviously goes from 25 to 35, which is insane. Her normal skill is really good and it increases your defense, allowing you to tank more. And if you have Tiore, it increases your defense even more, so allows you to take more. And then if you have Tiore and her, you're bursting the boss super fast. And then yeah, you have an insane defense increase from Tiore. So this becomes insane. And then this allows you to have a healer on your team. And when she pops this, she's immune to reactions, which is pretty much a CC. So you no longer have to worry about getting CC. But the bad thing was I would get smacked and lose a ton of HP. I would get hit for like 40% of a bar, and then that's it. And I have lost like 40% of my bar, but I'm still trying to smack you and break you. But now with her anti-aura and this active, I literally get like so much defense. I can tank that hit. I only lose like maybe 20% of my bar now from that same hit. And I get 15% of it back. And then I also, when I burst the enemy finally, I get a normal skill damage boost, which I wonder if that goes across characters. I hope that's not like something with her. Sometimes when you swap characters, you'll notice like you'll swap to a different character, the buff from the bottom, like below your health bar, goes away. So hopefully that does it, and I could like swap off, go to melee, pop E, and go crazy. So, but both are great. Earth Diane Axe is really underrated. I don't know why everyone just wants to go. Everyone wanted to go nunchucks because that used to be damage, heals, like shields, everything. But now everyone's going Gauntlet Diana, which makes sense. You want to just burst the boss so you could swap to melee, do damage. But now it goes like, and people were, and then we're trying to do nunchucks because nunchucks was a big, like a decently big heal shield, and just foregoed, and would just go something else, like just go pop the shield and then immediately do your skills, just pop your shield and then swap off, go to like Jericho or Fire or whatever. But now you could literally stay Earth Team and then get crazy heals off of it. But both are great. I think the burst heal one is better because it play now you're a burster and you're a burster, a buffer, and you're a freaking healer at the same time. All right, so the next one is Dragon Girl. So Manny. So Manny here. Increases all allied heroes' combined attack damage by 15%. When an allied hero uses a combined attack on an enemy affected by punishment, the effect's duration increases by 6 seconds, a cooldown for 20, and it goes up to 10 seconds. So it'll be only a 10-second timer in between of nothingness. But yeah, increases all allied heroes' combined attack damage. So this is for a holy build. When you're on holy build anyways, it's all about doing combined attacks, and she's all about giving you ult back faster. So she's all about right here. Punishment. So inflicts punishment, resulting in a critical hit when attacking enemies affected by punishment. Draco Priestess, which increases your crit damage for all allies, and in magic charging efficiency. It does, usually when it says allies in range, it also means that people on your bench, in a sense, will swap into the effect. It's not a selfish one for the hero specifically. But when you're in co-op and you use the near people, they also get that. So you allow your teammates to get their ults off faster. That's why she's really important. Crit damage boost, ult gauge boost. Also right here, increases ult move damage by 30% when an ally hero attacks an enemy affected by punishment. So not only is punishment a holy debuff that does damage over time, but it allows your allies, including your own like other characters, to do 30% more ult damage. Landing a normal attack additionally restores ult gauge by 15, and then they also add this effect after the beta. Increases all allied heroes combined attack damage by 30% for 10 seconds when the hero uses the ultimate move. So this is like a single sword melee can combo with her. So single sword melee then gets a 30% combined attack boost, and if they're punished, he gets another 30% ult damage boost on top of that, and then he also gets his own like crazy damage boost. And I have max dupes of melee, so my ult does insane damage already. So if I use this with her, I just go crazy. I'm using him with Bug. Bug reduces their dark resistance crazily and buffs dark damage. So it's like pretty much like it could equal out to the same thing. I'm not sure. This one's pretty crazy though. She's really insane. She also buffs crit damage on top of all that. So yeah. And this one's right here. So 20% increase a combined damage, 30% increase combined damage, 30% ult damage. And I think combo ults actually also get like a slight damage buff as well, but I'm not sure. The effect duration increases by 10 seconds of punishment as well, so that lasts longer, making it easier for you to get more ults off in that time frame because she's all about getting your ult back faster. And you could also get magic charging efficiency in these. So like you could always open this up and look for yourself, but like all element burst efficiency, buff duration efficiency, debuff duration efficiency, dot efficiency right here, magic charging efficiency. So you could literally get to 16.65%. And I'm pretty sure I don't think there's a rule of saying like if you get one in here, like attack increase here. I don't think there's a rule saying you can't get attack increase here. I'm pretty sure you could literally get all three as attack increase. It's just a really insane RNG chance. And right now with the stamina that we have daily, I don't think we're gonna get it. They really need to increase the stamina, man. I really, that's my biggest complaint. And I might even make a video about it where the stamina is just too much. Like, look how important all these are to making characters good. And then you have to worry about all this RNG here. And then you have to worry about the RNG of getting the level of different passives. And then you have to take into account that you only have a limited amount of stamina a day. So for the next like 3 weeks, while everyone's trying to get their own just mastery of their characters up, they have to slowly start thinking about what characters they want engraved and kits on first, because it literally takes like a good like 3 to 4 days of grinding, depending on your RNG of getting this. I got so unlucky where multiple runs, because you only get what, it's 20 stamina for a dungeon run. If you get insanely unlucky, you only get to do 2 a day without using a stamina pack. You get 5 extra, I forgot, from your little stamina pack from the shop. So I think it's, if we somehow, and actually no, we're not hitting 50 for a while, because my boy said he completed every single side quest in the entire game, and he's still barely almost 41. Almost, so he's still 40. So yeah, you have 55 stamina a day to work with, and a dungeon is 20. So you would have 15 left over, so you still wouldn't be able to do another dungeon run. Yeah, it's too little. I don't know what's they're smoking. And you can only buy stamina runs, five extra stamina a week, not including the ones in the shop for $5. And I think that's limited to like a monthly one. So even if you want to spend money and wail out, it's limited. Let me make sure my camera's not too dark. Okay, we're good. I have to finish this. It's getting darker and darker. I want to start stream. The next one is ice. So cold attack, debuff, duration, efficiency, 30%. Attacking enemy with reduced crit defense increases the normal. Attacking an enemy with reduced crit defense decreases the normal skill cooldown by 60% and decreases the dot interval by 10%. The reason why that's on there is because on her dual blades, she has frostbite, so it becomes a actual ice related debuff that does damage over time. And so that procs faster, and then each time it says right here, inflicts cold damage equal to 20% of attack as a critical hit every 1 second if it's at max. So right here, each hit inflicts frostbite. Damage increases by 10% every 1 stack when an enemy has frostbite. So the damage of frostbite, I think each hit inflicts damage equal to 10%, and that damage stacks 10%, 10%, 10%. It keeps going, and then it decreases crit defense by 2%. It stacks up to 10 times. You get 20% reduced crit defense on the enemy, and then inflicts damage equal to 20% of attack as a critical hit every 1 second if it's at max. So it does even more damage. And if you have the dot interval thing, instead of 1 second, it's the 20% interval. And let's say you even have you have the interval here, and then you also have Xraypc's. So then Xraypc, that's why he works with like a bunch of teams, but his actually works with Shocked and Bleeds. Never mind. So yeah, but it's still really good. And then attacking enemy with reduced crit defense, normal skill back. The skill itself reduces the debuff itself does that. So yeah, both are great. I guess I don't know how she does as like a. Does she do good as like a DPS on the cold team? I mean, I guess she reduces cold resist here. That goes up to 30%. When an allied hero attacks a max frostbite enemy, they have 35% more damage. Frostbite reduces the crit defense, so they take more crit damage. The debuff hits pretty hard if you get that one thing, because it's just going to keep attacking more often. And then each hit inflicts frostbite enemy, and then there increases their cold attack of allies. So you get cold attack buff, or cold damage buff, and then you get the crit defense reduction, and then you get over here, and then you also make your frostbites tick faster and everything. So yeah, I think both are great. You're probably just going to use the holy one, because that getting your ult back way faster is way better than, and all the buffs you get from this are way better than the actual cold one here. But I mean, shoot, you could use that too. But yeah, let's move on. This is Drake. So this is the brother, lightning brother. This is for your great sword. Normal lightning attack, normal skill damage increase, crit damage. Decreases special attack cooldown by 12% using your special attack. Increases lightning damage by 6% for 20 seconds while the hero has a cooldown reduction boost. It goes up to 18% base, and it goes up to 30% maxed. So special attack increases lightning damage by 10% for 20 seconds. So it goes up to 30%. And then you also, so every time you get a cooldown reduction boost, and Drake gets up to 30% right here. So 1, 2, 3. So 30% cooldown, and 1, 2, 3. So you get 30% more lightning damage. And then decreases your special attack cooldown by 20%. Your special attack right here. So normal skill reduces your cooldown, and your special attack, each hit decreases your normal skill cooldown, meaning you get your cooldowns and your lightning damage increases faster. So yeah, normal skill grants a hero cooldown reduction. Your normal skill actual effect is gives you King's Magic up to 3 times. Increases lightning attack by 10%, crit chance every by 5% for every stack up to 3 times. And then you also get special attack increases your lightning damage by 10%. So you literally get 30% here, 30% here, or this one's 30% lightning attack. This one is 30% lightning damage. So they kind of both go together. They're not the same effect. And then you get 15% crit chance, and you get 30% cooldown reduction. And you still get 20% to your special attack. So this is for all skills. You get 20% more on this, and then this lowers the cooldown of this. So you get this more often. So this really gets a 20% cooldown, not even including the gear-like rolls. Because you can get cooldown reduction on your weapon when you roll the enchant on your weapon, and then you get a cooldown reduction on your actual engravement. So you can literally get it as a roll here. So you could get crazy, like this could be like, I don't even know, like could it be like a 2-second cooldown? I don't know. That'd be insane though. This dude will do fat damage. But yeah, let's move on. That's probably already looking like the best one. And then this one's lightning attack, debuff, duration, efficiency, dot efficiency. So this is for your staff. If you guys are looking to use a lightning staff, each hit on an enemy with a reduced crit defense decreases their crit resistance by 10%, and that stacks up to 50% base. And then restores the tag gauge by 700. All right, I'm gonna turn my light on already. It gets dark really fast. That way I don't have to do it on thing. All right. Each hit on enemy reduces crit defense by 14% up to 70%, and 700 tag gauge to 1,000 tag gauge. But yeah, that's insane. You could literally reduce their crit. They literally have only what 30% crit resistance. I guess not all. Some enemies might have like, let's say like later on in the game they're gonna have like 130%, 140%. A lot of enemies in Grand Cross ended up having this, where they ended up having wild crit resistances, like 113, 140%, 150%. So they had a lot of characters with crit resistance reductions, and like maybe you'll get kits and stuff like with that and stuff. So this is going to be really important. All the characters with crit resistance reduction are going to be really important. So let's look at his lightning staff real quick. Electric current, which is the decrease crit defense. So electric current for 40 seconds or landing or normal attack. It stacks up to 5 times. It increases lightning attack by 5% for every stack of it when an ally hero attacks an enemy affected by electric current. So it goes up to 25% more lightning attack and 40% reduced crit defense. Increases crit chance by 15% when an enemy is paralyzed. And then also each hit on enemy with reduced crit defense increases it by, I think is that 5 times? Yeah. So this stacks with this pretty much. So they both go them 40% reduced crit defense, 70% reduced crit resistance, and then when they're paralyzed, you have 15% more crit chance. This one applies paralyzed if they're shocked, so you want to use this. This guy applies shocked here, but you can get shocked on Guild Thunder, so you could get it from both. It inflicts shock for 10 seconds when attacking an enemy with 3 or more electric current stacks. And then each hit increases the damage by 6% when attacking an enemy with 5 or more electric current stacks. So results in a critical hit guaranteed if the enemy is paralyzed. You reduce crit defense here. Even if you don't have the guarantee, you still have reduced crit resistance here. And then you also get tag gauge on top of all that. So both are insane right there. And that's all of them right there. Just want to end the video there. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the engraved equipment. I just want to go through all of them. Both are great. I guess say that one. I usually try to say which ones are good. That one, both are great. Not many options in here where it's like, wow, this one's just way clear above the other. Don't use this one. I can't even remember the one because every single one just seems broken for that thing that they're trying to do. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't want to make this video even longer than it already is. If you enjoyed, if you watched the whole video, drop a comment down below saying which one's your favorite, and what you're hoping for. And hopefully, I went over one that you're like, oh my god, that makes that build I was thinking of insane, because pretty much this is that the SR weapons right now, they don't have enough character specific ones. There's only one so far, and for Meliodas is only for his sword. They don't have one for the other parts. So for now, this is your way of making that kit that unique. Like the one for my axe literally makes axe super broken. Like I want to literally, now that I have the SSR axe, I kind of want to go heavily into axe a little bit and try to see if that makes it OP too, but we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next 7 Deadly Sins video. I'm going to start my stream now. I'll be live on Twitch, especially for the release of the game. Hope you guys are there. Peace.